should put you
Sisters? So, hi, this is my channel. Welcome back. You've read the title of this video. My school is literally haunted. I'm gonna start at the beginning, which is about a quarter of the way into junior year. We had just wrapped up the play. We were turning on the ghost light. For anyone who doesn't know what a ghost light is, it's a light that we turn on in the auditorium to keep the spirits at rest when there's no show. It's like a theater superstition. It's not just at my school, it's a thing. So we had just turned it on and we were all taking pictures of the light just to, you know, post on our Snapchat stories and stuff and be like, oh, the show's over, blah, 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 blah. And my exchange sister took a picture that was a little spooky. It was a picture of the light, but in the background there was a sort of glare. And we all figured it was like, I don't know, just a flash or like someone else's camera. But we looked at where it was in relativity to where the picture was taken. And there's a seat in our auditorium that does not stay up. You know who James Hunt is?
Who's James Hunt?
I'm gonna tell Ari who James Hunt is while I tell you. So, I don't know the year that it happened, but James Hunt was one of the first directors of the plays at our school and the plays and the musicals. And he passed away during one of the productions. Now, in auditorium, that production, if you say the name of that production, it's haunted. It's like Macbeth, but at our school. So ours is Showboat. You can't say that if you're currently in a show because James Hunt will haunt you. James Hunt's seat in the auditorium is the one that does not flip up. And in relativity to where the picture was taken, that glare in the photo was right where his seat is. We were all like, that's spooky. That's spooky as heck. We all just kind of brushed it off. We were like, that's a little freaky, but you know, whatever. So that's the end of that story. Not that scary, just a little spooky, you know? Then junior year came. We were about a week away from the opening night of our play. And sometimes we bring in teachers to play certain roles. So there was a role called the town crier, and he would come out and he would read a scroll and he's like the narrator. And so we got one of our teachers, Mr. Demko, to come play this role. He is very obsessed with scary stories and ghosts and everything at our school that's like spooky at all. On Halloween, he always tells scary stories, like things that he has experienced, things that other students have experienced. He always tells ghost stories about our school on Halloween to all of his classes. So he always tells the story of James Hunt and Showboat. But he didn't realize that this year he was in the show. So usually he can say Showboat with no problem. But this past year, he caused some problems. Yeah, dun dun dun. So for the past few weeks, we had been having a problem with a leak in our auditorium. There was one like little crack in the ceiling where water would come through and just mess everything up. So we had a bucket under that. It was up in one of the lofts backstage in our auditorium. So we didn't regularly notice it. We just kept the bucket there, emptied it when it needed to be emptied, and just that was the end of it until someone could come fix it. Someone else who had known about the leak was in Demko's class at the time, and he was like, oh my gosh, Demko, you can't say Showboat like you're in the show. And Demko was like, oh, it's, you know, it's whatever, like it's no big deal. But they went to lunch, and when they came back, the back corner of Demko's room was leaking. And he immediately called me and he was like, Miranda, you have to go check the leak in the auditorium. You have to make sure it's not like bigger or leaking. And I was like, why? It's not like an escalating situation. Like it's just been dripping and filling up this bucket. And he was like, you have to go check on it. Like make sure it's not anything bigger. I was like, okay, whatever. I go up there and there's 3 more leaks and the whole loft is flooded. And I was like, how did he know? Like what happened? And I asked him, well, first of all, I had to clean up all that water. Me and like 2 other people cleaned up all the water up there. And it was Halloween, so they were doing like a freshman haunted hallway in the auditorium and they wouldn't let us turn the lights on. So we were cleaning up water in the dark. Not fun. Anyway, scary story. I asked him, I was like, how did you know that this was gonna happen? Like, what made you think that the leak was gonna be a problem? And he was like, Demko's back corner was leaking after he said showboat. And I was like, hold on, hold up, problem. I said showboat earlier. We were making a ghost story video in TV10, and I was like, I told the ghost story. I'm in the show. What's gonna happen to me? I'm scared. Am I gonna die? Am I gonna fall off this loft and die? And like, as I was thinking it, I had my phone in my hand, and I dropped it, and it shatters, just completely shatters, and I was like, no, I'm gonna die. This is it, I'm cursed. So yeah, those are the first two stories. You know, I wasn't convinced that ghosts exist or whatever, like after these first two. Like the first one I just brushed off, like I basically forgot about it until the rest of these happened. The second one, I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy coincidence. Like Demko's back room is leaking, the auditorium's leaking, my phone cracked, like wow, that's pretty crazy. That's such a crazy situation. But then this happened and I was like, that's a little weird. I was in TV10 with my friend Chase, who's been in my videos before, you probably know him. He's the one with the girthquake. I'm not leaving that in. We saw Haley walk out the door of the studio and we were like, that's kind of weird, like, I don't think we remember her being in here. Like neither of us were talking to her. It was just the two of us, like, in the room by ourselves, and then we saw her leave and we were like, oh, like, I don't think, we didn't like discuss it out loud, but we both just kind of followed her. When we left the room, she wasn't there. She was like nowhere to be seen. And so we were like again, all of this was just like, neither of us had been like talking out loud. Neither of us had like specifically said to each other like, oh, let's follow Haley. Like we just both kind of did. And when we got out in the hallway, she wasn't there. And then we saw the door to one of the other rooms down the hallway swing open and closed. And we were like, again, not spoken out loud, but we both just kind of walked over there. We were following Haley. And when we got over to the room, the door was propped open, even though we had seen it swing closed. We walked in there and there was nobody in there. And I looked over at him, and this is when we actually started talking out loud, and I was like, you saw Haley walk in here, right? Like, we definitely both saw someone walk in here. And he was like, yeah. Like, we were both following Haley. Like, we had an unspoken agreement that we were following Haley. And we were like, that's really weird. There's nobody in here. There's no other doors to the room. The room is fairly small. So like, we would have seen someone if they were in there. So then we were like, that's kind of weird. And so we went into one of the other rooms and we saw Haley in there and with a couple of other friends. And we were like, Haley, were you just in the studio? Like, were you in the studio with us just now? She was like, no, I've been in here for like 10 minutes. And we were like, who the heck did we just see walk into Media 100? Like, who was that? And who just disappeared into thin air? And like we saw the door swing open, closed, and then by the time we got over there it was propped. It was so weird. Like the both of us were just mind blown. We were like, just so weirded out. We were like, who was that? What happened? Like we both saw it. So like obviously neither of us were imagining it or like thinking something happened that didn't. Like we both saw it. Again, the previous two, like coincidence. Oh, that like glare on the camera, like in a convenient spot. This one I was like, okay, that's weird. Like I'm a little convinced that our school is haunted. And then this fourth one happened and I was spooked as heck, let me tell you. I was up in my AP Psych class. So I had to go to the bathroom. And when I got in there was already someone in one of the stalls. There's only 2 stalls in this upstairs bathroom. So I went in there and I heard someone in the second stall. So I went in, the first one and I'm doing my thing. I hear the person next to me. Like I hear them peeing. I hear them using toilet paper. Like I hear them next to me. There is clearly someone in the stall next to me. I don't think anything of it. I'm just like, whatever. Like, yeah, there's someone in the stall next to me. Obviously, we're in the bathroom. We're doing our thing. So I get out of the stall. The person next to me is still in the stall. So I'm like, whatever, they're doing their thing, taking their time, let them live. I wasn't actually thinking this. I wasn't thinking anything of it because yeah, someone's in the bathroom next to me. And the stalls in that bathroom make very, very loud banging noises when they close. So I'm washing my hands and suddenly I hear the stall open and bang closed. And I was like, I kind of turn around because I'm like, maybe it's someone I know, maybe I'm gonna smile at them or have a conversation. And there's no one there. And I'm like, that was weird. I definitely just heard the stall open and close. And it's directly behind me. So like, this bathroom's not very big. It's like, again, 2 stalls. The sinks are like 5 feet away from the stall doors. Like, I clearly heard this stall banging directly behind me. So I turn around, there's nobody there, and I'm like, okay, maybe they just didn't leave the stall. Like, they opened it, closed it, and then realized they had something else to do. I don't know. I was a little weirded out, but I was like, whatever, I didn't think anything of it. So I, get paper towels, I go to leave, and the minute I round the corner to leave the bathroom, I hear the water turn on. And again, that bathroom is not very big. If someone was behind me, I would have seen them. And it was so immediate. The water turned on the minute I left. Because I could still hear it, because again, bathroom's not very big. I can hear the water running, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's a little weird. Like, I would have seen this person. I would have seen them, for sure. And then I hear the paper towels. So it's not just like there is someone in there. And I'm like, I don't want to go back in there because I'm a little weirded out, but I'm just gonna wait outside this bathroom. So I waited outside the bathroom for a good 5 minutes. Like, I stood out there and waited for anyone to come out, and nobody did. Ari is shocked, if you could see his face.
Bruh. That's twisted.
Right? So that's why I believe in ghosts. When I said my school's haunted, I'm not kidding. This video is not clickbait, you can tell. I'm not lying about any of these stories. These actually happened. It's a great day to be a raider. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you want more scary stories about my school, I'm not the only one who has had spooky paranormal experiences. My sister's had some, and she's only a freshman. I can make this a series. I can bring my friends on and have them tell their spooky stories too, because our school is literally haunted. Literally, I'm not even kidding. So if you do like this and you want more, I can give you more. Leave a comment telling me any spooky stories about your life, and subscribe to my channel, because I don't know why you should subscribe to my channel, just do it anyway, because I'm sick and you should feel bad for me.